Okay, this is the demonstration for the altered grid project. The first thing that you're going to do is find a photograph that is rectangular, because I'm going to be giving you a rectangular piece of paper. You're going to need to make sure that your picture is relative in shape to what your paper is. It doesn't have to be exact, it just needs to be close to the shape that you're choosing. So I want to make sure that it's not a long skinny rectangle and it's not going to be a square, just a regular looking rectangle. First thing you'll do is crop your photograph, because I don't want to include any of this stuff over here. I just want to include, the action, what's going on in the middle. So I'm going to find a way to crop this so that it is falling on the whole number or the ½ inch mark, nothing else. So the first thing I'm noticing is if I take this from the edge of the picture, I can actually make this about 5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 5 inches there, and then I'm going to slide it to another point a little further away from where I just made that mark to make another 5-inch mark. And what this does is when I go to line my ruler up with those two marks, it keeps my ruler consistently 5 inches from the edge of the picture. And then all I'm going to do is draw a line. The next thing I'll do is flip this to see how can I get this to be an even number, fall in a whole number, or fall in a half. So I'm going to lay my ruler on here and I'm going to look what is the best option for me here. I think I'm going to go with 9 because I like when it falls on exact whole numbers. So I will just lay my ruler down against the edge of the picture and mark 9 inches here, slide it up a little bit and mark 9 inches up here. Then I'll take my ruler, line those two marks up, and draw a line all the way across. Now what that is those are my crop marks. So I'm not drawing any of this extra stuff over here, and I'm stopping at the picture's edge there. This piece of paper now is relatively the same size as the drawing paper that I'm going to be using. The next thing that I'll do is I'm going to try to make a grid over top of this picture. I want to make sure that the grid is about, is at the ½ inch or the whole number again, and it's consistently 1 inch by 1 inch, ½ inch by ½ inch. Because this worked out nice and neat and I got it 5 by 9, I'm going to just do 1 inch by 1 inch boxes, makes it a whole lot easier. So the first thing I'll do is I'll lay my ruler on the picture's edge, and I'm going to mark every inch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide my ruler down to the bottom of the picture, do the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'll do is I will take a pen or a Sharpie, fine point, ultra fine point Sharpie is best. I'm going to line up those two marks, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to slide my ruler over to the next two marks, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll line up each set of marks, drawing a line through my picture. I'm going to then flip my picture to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing. 1 inch marks all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on this edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Line up my lines and draw my lines across. Now, to transfer the grid to a piece of large paper, the thing that we have to figure out is how many boxes, how many lines. Across the top, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So it's 4. Down the side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. So it's 4 by 8. I need to remember that because now I'm going to draw my grid on my large paper and I need to use the same number of lines to get the same number of spaces on my bigger paper. Okay, here I have a large piece of paper. I'm going to make sure that this is in view before I begin so you can see what's happening. I'm going to move the tripod back a little bit. Okay. I am going to take my pencil and I'm going to do 4 lines going this way, but I need to make sure that this is distorted. So my goal here is to curve them and make them really oddly shaped. So 4 lines. Understand that I'm going to draw very dark on this piece of paper because I want you to be able to see it on the camera, but you need to do this step very lightly because you're going to be erasing it. So 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I need 8 going the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I have my grid lines on the paper. The first thing that I would do is I would look at my original and I'd go, okay, here's this first box down here in the bottom corner. I need to translate what's happening here into this shape. I'm going to use the outer edges of this box to help with placement. First thing I notice is her foot crosses this grid line at about the 3/4 mark and pops out this side at about the halfway point. So if this is the 3/4 mark here, and this is the halfway point here, I am going to try my best to draw that line so that it lands in those 2 spaces. So there's 1. Now, the bottom part of her sandal comes out at the 3/4 mark, which is right about here. And I'm going to extend into the center of the box at an angle, center of the box, and start curving upward. So I'm using those edges to translate that is the bottom line of her foot, and that is the top part of her foot. Draw out every box in that exact same way, lightly. Erase all of your pencil mark grid lines, and then go back and add in all the shading at the end.